Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal Part 237 to 238 based on novel. So let's start. There was a bright nebula among the vastness of space. This colorful nebula looked static, but it was undergoing a change unseen to the eye. This nebula was filled with different colors and was very beautiful. On this day, a ray of light flew through the nebula. This ray of light wasn't fast, but when it passed through the nebula, it made it look as if the nebula was boiling and retreating. What was more astonishing was that the person inside the ray of light wasn't using a treasure like the star compass, he was moving with his body. This person wore a green robe and looked about 30 years old. His appearance was ordinary and there was nothing unusual about him. If there was anything notable, it was that he gave off an ancient temperament. It was as if this person had lived for tens of thousands of years. Wang Lin walked the entire way. He didn't use spatial bending, he just calmly walked among the stars. It had been 4 days since he returned from the void. 4 days ago, he and Qing Shui opened up the passage back from the void with the help of Master Flamespark. Wang Lin didn't mention much about what happened in the void. He didn't go too deeply into the whereabouts of Yi Muzi, Wudo Chan, and the Moongazer serpent. Master Flamespark didn't ask too much about it, but when they talked about the Moongaze serpent, he frowned. Wang Lin didn't linger too long with Master Flamespark. He decided to leave using a private matter as an excuse. Master Flamespark silently pondered for a long time and didn't force Wang Lin to stay. Although he couldn't see through Wang Lin's ancient god body even though his cultivation level was much higher, he could feel a powerful aura that shocked him greatly coming from Wang Lin. Although this aura was fearsome now, with time, it would grow to an extremely terrifying degree. The seal on Qing Shui's cultivation quickly undid itself once he returned. After all, his celestial origin energy didn't really disappear, it was merely suppressed by the seal. After recovering his cultivation, Qing Shui didn't stay where Master Flamespark was. He disappeared among the stars, his whereabouts unknown. On the surface, when the two left, it looked like they didn't interact at all, but Wang Lin knew Qing Shui would come and find him. After all, Qing Shui hadn't searched esteemed Shen Bao's memories yet. Thinking about what happened in the void, Wang Lin felt very regrettable about it all. Whether it was Lu Chen's life, the waves outside the seal, or the secrets of the celestial realm, they were all fresh in Wang Lin's mind. What shocked him the most was the heaven-defying bead. Wang Lin would never have guessed that the heaven-defying bead would unexpectedly trigger a great war between the 4 celestial realms. The great war between the 4 celestial realms was certainly more fierce than the battle between all heaven and the alliance. Wang Lin let out a sigh as he went through the nebula and looked ahead. At some point, he turned around and remained unmoving. A moment later, ripples spread from where he was looking and Qing Shui walked out. He looked at Wang Lin with admiration in his eyes. Wang Lin's expression was calm as he smiled. Senior brother came. The current you is qualified to travel the stars, so I can relax. Qing Shui took a step and arrived next to Wang Lin. Wang Lin immediately noticed a powerful smell of blood from Qing Shui's body. He could vaguely feel that Qing Shui's cultivation was several times stronger than several days ago. On the way, I heard a few people talking about your name, so I went and killed some alliance cultivators who were good at hiding. Although Qing Shui spoke like it was nothing, Wang Lin could tell that this was absolutely not a small matter. The truth was certainly as he explained. The slaughter realm of the alliance had kept up their pursuit of Thunder Celestial Shu Mu. Although Wang Lin had gone into the void, they didn't give up and stayed around. However, they didn't scatter but divided into 2 teams near where the all-heaven cultivators were. However, this slaughter realm had terrible luck and one of its groups was confronted by Qing Shui. All of them were killed and even the leader was devoured by Qing Shui. Wang Lin slapped his bag of holding and esteemed Shen Bao's origin soul flew out. He threw it at Qing Shui. Qing Shui caught it and placed his right hand between esteemed Shen Bao's eyebrows. Celestial origin energy surged into Qing Shui's right hand and esteemed Shen Bao awakened. Burst of miserable screams echoed and his origin soul convulsed. Qing Shui's expression was gloomy and his eyes were closed. After a long time, he opened his eyes, and there was a layer of frost over his face. He threw esteemed Shen Bao's origin soul back at Wang Lin. Wang Lin didn't speak and caught esteemed Shen Bao's origin soul. This origin soul had lost its consciousness and had become nothing but a source of celestial origin energy. The former dignified celestial, the junior brother of the esteemed Tian Bao, ended up like this. It could only be said that whether you were a celestial or a cultivator, if you were a bit careless, you could end up in this state. If you wished to be different, then you had to become the strongest. Wang Lin put this origin soul into his bag of holding and looked at Qing Shui. Qing Shui's expression had returned back to normal, but there was a hint of fierceness in it. He had found a sliver of a clue from esteemed Shen Bao's origin soul. Qing Shui looked at Wang Lin and slowly said, "Shu Mu, I need to go the Alliance's slaughter realm to pick up an item. Are you willing to go with me?" Wang Lin pondered a bit and said, "Can senior brother wait for me for 10 days? Qing Shui nodded and said, "Okay, I'll come looking for you in 10 days. Qing Shui didn't waste time. He took a step and disappeared into the void. The moment he disappeared, a monstrous killing intent disappeared instantly. Wang Lin let out a sigh. He knew that Qing Shui must have found someone within esteemed Shen Bao's origin soul. After pondering for a bit, he took a step and ripples appeared under his feet. He merged with the world. The reason he asked for 10 days was because there were 2 matters he had to attend to. There was a cultivation planet in the northern region of the Alliance. This planet was in the depths of the northern region and was far away from the battle several days ago, so it wasn't affected by the big battle. This planet was filled with spiritual energy and covered with endless forests. This was a rank 7 cultivation planet. There were 3 smaller cultivation planets around this planet, making them the secondary planets. This rank 7 cultivation planet had a very beautiful name. It was called Dark Moon. A majority of planet Dark Moon was covered in forests and large amounts of mortal villages were scattered across the planet. There were also many cultivation sects within its numerous mountains. There was a famous mountain in the southern part of the planet, and it was called Heaven Mountain. This mountain was very full and the top was covered in mist. No one knew where the peak was. A small path of stone steps led up the mountain and the rest was hidden within the clouds. One couldn't help but feel like this place was the celestial realm. Every morning, the sound of bells would echo from the peak of the mountain. A few beautiful birds would fly out among the clouds and wander Heaven Mountain. Their cries would intersect with the sound of the bells. This scene was like a scene from a painting. It was extremely elegant, like a hidden paradise. Dong, dong, dong. The sound of the bell seemed to pierce the clouds as it spread out from the peak. It made the heart of anyone who heard it feel peaceful. There was a mortal village at the foot of mountain. There weren't many people there, only about 100 families. The village was filled with apricot trees, and the trees were in full bloom. A gust of wind would cause the fragrance of the apricot flowers to spread. Smelling the fragrance of the apricot flowers would make one feel calm. The sound of the bells seemed to blow away the coldness of night in the early morning. Burst of smoke and the sound of dogs barking appeared. As the smoke floated into the air as if it removed the last sliver of darkness of night. Looking at this from away, it was like a moving picture and contained its own domain. Wang Lin silently stood in the distance and looked at the village ahead. The smoke and the swaying apricot trees were dynamic and the almost 100 house were static. The dynamic and static things contrasted each other, like the leisurely and busy lives. This inadvertent combination made Wang Lin feel familiar and yet unfamiliar at the same time. What he recalled was not the village before him but his childhood back on planet Suzaku. In a fragments of nursery rhyme came from the distances as the sound of the bell ringing echoed in the morning. The apricot tree blooms white flowers. The daughter won't be taken by a Daoist family. Last year, Lang II went up the mountain, and a year later Lang I was a bag of bones. The cry of the daughter accompanies the dead but takes the coffin as family. The apricot tree blooms white flowers and children shouldn't be taken by Taoists. If asked about my age, I still don't have found my Tao. The dog barks, the cat scratches, scaring the Daoist back home. The voice of a tender child entered Wang Lin's ears along with the sound of a crisp bell ringing. It was a child dressed in close-fitting clothes riding on an ox walking toward the village. There was an iron hoop through the ox's nose with 2 bells attached. As the ox walked, the bells would ring unceasingly. There were several calves following the ox. The child saw Wang Lin but wasn't afraid as he continued to sing the nursery rhyme and gradually approached Wang Lin. The child tilted his head and his big eyes blinked as he said, "Uncle, why are you here? Are you lost?" Wang Lin revealed a smile and nodded. "What is this place?" The child pointed ahead and said his tender voice, "This is the apricot flower village." As he spoke, he sat on the ox and walked into the village. Only the nursery rhyme continued to echo. Wang Lin let out a sigh. When the nursery rhyme entered his ears, a hint of sadness arose within him. He muttered, "Planet Dark Moon, a village under Heaven Mountain. This should be it." That vague call from a dying friend who was homesick echoed in Wang Lin's ears. "Please take my ashes back to Planet Dark Moon in the Alliance star system. There is a mountain called Heaven Mountain. I remember that there was a village under the mountain. Please take my ashes there." 1. Several kilometers outside of Apricot Flower Village, there were a field of graves. Wang Lin's figure appeared there. He looked at the graves before him and, after pondering for a long time, he slapped his bag of holding. A white jade vial appeared in his hand. Holding the bottle, Wang Lin let out a sigh and said, "Sun Tai, the grudge before us is over. I have completed the promise I made to you to bring your ashes home." As he spoke, the small bottle automatically flew forward and entered the soil in the distance. Then a small mound slowly formed. He waved his right hand and carved with his finger. There were flashes of light as Wang Lin carved a decorative tombstone with a few small words on it. "Sun Tai's grave. For us cultivators, 100 years, 1,000 years pass in the blink of an eye. Most relatives will have passed away, and those that remain feel alienated. Once you step on the path of cultivation, you are doomed to a life of hardship. When you're walking down the path of cultivation, when you turn your head you can't see where you came from, and when you look at the path ahead, it is shrouded in fog." Wang Lin let out a sigh as he looked at Sun Tai's grave, and regret filled his eyes. "Today I was able to send your ashes home even though you died in a foreign land. If there is a day when I die, I don't know if there will be anyone to send me back to planet Suzaku." Wang Lin silently pondered before leaving. "This is karma." Wang Lin's footsteps didn't stop as he gradually disappeared. However, that nursery rhyme didn't leave, it shrouded his heart. Apricot tree blooms white flowers. Cultivation, cultivation, mortals yearn to become immortal and enter the cultivation world. Yet they don't know how many cultivators are envious of a mortal's bland life. How many more died in foreign places like Sun Tai, their ashes scattering with the wind, unable to return home. However, many parents and relatives weren't able to meet their children even at their dying moment. If one had the choice again, would they still take that step to become a cultivator? The nursery rhyme was formed by many generations of bitterness. Outsiders might not be able to understand what the child sings about, but cultivators can feel the sadness in their heart. The name of that nursery rhyme must be, "Don't Cultivate." Wang Lin's figure faded from existed as he merged with the word. However, that nursery rhyme and that eternal sadness remained. Wang Lin stepped through the stars. There was a powerful sense of regret over his body. Although the trip was short, the mood lingered with him. The area between the western and northern regions had become the buffer area for the All-Heaven cultivators. There was a cultivation planet near where the battlefield was. This cultivation planet was kept rather intact, and although there wasn't much spiritual energy left, Li Yunzi didn't care. Li Yunzi sat at the peak of a mountain on the planet. Beside him was a youth who had a gloomy expression. Although he was also sitting there, he looked into the distance as if he was waiting for something. If Wang Lin was here, he would recognize the youth as Shu Ting, who nearly died in the big battle. There were 13 balls of blood around Li Yunzi. These 13 balls of blood were the remaining Lu Fu. There weren't many All-Heaven cultivators here, only a few people, with Li Yunzi as the leader. He was here precisely because the 13 Lu Fu would prevent the Alliance from launching another attack. His divine sense was spread through the 13 Lu Fu, which allowed his divine sense to spread much farther than normal. As a result, nothing within the area could escape his divine sense. Wang Lin's figure appeared from within the ripples. He came to this cultivation planet looking for Li Yunzi. This was the second matter he had to attend to. Back before he entered the void, Wang Lin had a divine sense message sent to him, and the person who sent it was Li Yunzi. Li Yunzi, who was sitting on the top of the mountain, slowly opened his eyes. The moment he opened his eyes, the 13 balls of blood trembled and 13 red eyes appeared on the 13 balls of blood. All of them were staring in one direction, and a powerful pressure formed as a result. It formed a spell that could collapse the stars. Li Yunzi revealed a faint smile and slowly said, "You came." With this cultivation, he could naturally see that Wang Lin had undergone some changes, but he didn't point it out or question Wang Lin. After all, he was inferior to Master Flamespark and therefore wasn't able to clearly see through it. There was a flash of coldness in Shu Ting's eyes. He let out a cold snort and didn't hide his killing intent as he stared at Wang Lin. Wang Lin's figure appeared under the gazes of the 13 red eyes. His expression was neutral, as if the pressure didn't affect him at all, and he completely ignored Shu Ting. He looked at Li Yunzi and said, "Shu Mu greets Senior Li Yunzi." Li Yunzi waved his right hand and the 13 red eyes disappeared from the balls of blood, causing the pressure to disappear. Wang Lin's expression didn't change at all as he landed on top of the mountain and stood opposite of Shu Ting. Shu Ting shouted, "Shu Mu. You. Noisy." Wang Lin coldly looked at Shu Ting. This gaze was like a sharp sword that pierced through Shu Ting's eyes. Shu Ting felt an explosion in his mind and his expression changed greatly. He was in shock and his entire body felt weak. Wang Lin's words seemed to contain some kind of law that caused the blood flow in his body to reverse and his celestial origin to almost collapse. Bang, 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 bang. At this instant, all sounds aside from his heartbeat were isolated from his ears. His heart rate accelerated and sweat poured out non-stop. From his view, facing Wang Lin just now felt like he was facing an elder of his family, and he couldn't resist at all. What made him feel even more fear was the powerful aura that was several times stronger than the heaven's might. As his body trembled, he felt like he was under the feet of a giant. If this giant roared, it would make his body and origin soul completely collapse. After coughing out a mouthful of blood, Shu Ting was filled with terror. He retreated as he stared at Wang Lin, but his mind was blank. He couldn't understand why this had happened. Li Yunzi's eyes shined brightly and he exclaimed, then his gaze toward Wang Lin became serious. Wang Lin no longer looked at Shu Ting but looked at Li Yunzi and calmly said, "I wonder why Senior has called Junior here." Wang Lin's voice was calm, but it just made Li Yunzi even more serious. He no longer looked at Wang Lin like an ordinary junior. This was the effect Wang Lin wanted. He wanted to shake the mountain to alert the tiger. With his intelligence, how could he not know why Li Yunzi was looking for him? Back then, he didn't have the qualifications to make demands, but now he did. During the celestial bestowment, this old man allowed you to look at the Zhon family's battle scroll. I promised you then to allow you to see the second scroll. Today, I called you and Shu Ting over to observe it. As Li Yunzi spoke, he lifted his left hand and reached toward the void. There was a tearing sound and then a rift appeared. A ray of black light shot out from the crack. There was a black scroll surrounded by black light. It flew toward Li Yunzi's hand and floated there. This is second battle scroll of my Zhon family's 3 battle scrolls. Li Yunzi's left hand threw it forward, and he looked at Wang Lin with a hint of anticipation. Wang Lin's right hand grabbed the Zhon battle scroll, but he didn't open it. Instead, he smiled at Li Yunzi and said, "Senior Li Yunzi, Junior can't view this second battle scroll for nothing." As Li Yunzi looked at Wang Lin, his expression became gloomy. However, he recalled Wang Lin's roar, and a moment later, he laughed. "Shu Mu, you've got guts. What do you want? Speak." Wang Lin pointed at the 13 Lu Fu and calmly said, "Junior wants a Lu Fu for looking at the second scroll." Li Yunzi silently pondered as he revealed a smile that was not a smile and said, "Is this a treasure you can have?" Wang Lin faintly smiled but didn't answer the question. Instead, he said, "Junior has an appointment with my senior brother." In a few days, he will come find me to go to a place with him. Li Yunzi meaningfully looked at Wang Lin as he laughed and said, I'll gift you one. With that, his right hand reached toward the void and one the balls of blood descended. It rapidly condensed into a fist-sized ball and floated toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin carefully grabbed it and put it in his bag after checking it. Li Yunzi said, now you can look at it. Since Vice Thunder Celestial Shooting is going to view it with me for a chance at good fortune, then Shooting should view it first. After all, he was the first to view it last time. Wang Lin threw the scroll at Shooting. Shooting's trembling mind hadn't recovered yet, but he subconsciously seized it. He opened the scroll and then a thunderous roar suddenly came from it. A powerful battle intent appeared from the void and descended on Shooting. Shooting's body trembled as he felt a monstrous wind blow by. It was as if an ancient beast was sealed inside, and now that the seal was released, the fierce beast released its monstrous aura. Countless years of anger escaped at once as if it was going to devour him. Li Yunzi's expression revealed a hint of tension. It was rare for him to show this kind of tension with his cultivation and age. He clearly knew how many talents in his family throughout the years were able to view the first scroll but were unable to withstand the unimaginable battle intent inside the second scroll before it even opened completely. The less serious consequence was that they be seriously injured and maimed, the more serious consequence, their origin soul would perish. Li Yunzi knew that what they saw and felt was beyond the limit of the mind. Only a few people were able to open the second scroll. Even so, they were only able to open it a little. As for those who could completely open the second scroll throughout the countless generations, there were only 3 people, including himself. Only those 3 could completely open the second scroll. Shooting's face was deathly pale, his body trembled, and lot of sweat poured out. His eyes were in a daze as he stared at the scroll that was opened by a sliver. He felt a fierce aura charging out from the small opening in the scroll, and it wanted to devour him. This made him feel very uncomfortable, as if something was being suppressed in his chest. He wanted to let out a roar to release it, but he couldn't make a sound. A roar that came from the ancient times echoed in his ears. Then a violent wind blew at him, causing his clothes and hair to flutter. He was in a trance and had an illusion that he was a lonely boat struggling among turbulent waves. However, Shu Ting was a talented junior from the Shu family of planet Donglin. He had entered the celestial pool, where his domain melted, but he obtained his celestial origin. If he was in the ancient cultivation world, he would be a true celestial. At this moment, he took a deep breath and his eyes shined brightly. Under this desperate situation, he suppressed the terror in his heart as he stared at the scroll, and his trembling hands slowly opened it. This scene caused Li Yunzi's eyes to light up and reveal a hint of admiration. He thought, Shu Ting was one of the few cultivators who could comprehend the first scroll within 4 seconds. Normally, when cultivators like him open up the second scroll, they can only open it 40%. I just don't know how much he can open it. Wang Lin's expression was still neutral as he coldly stared at Shu Ting. Shu Ting's hands trembled even more violently. Every time he opened the scroll a bit more, the fierce aura became even more intense. He felt as if he was holding an ancient beast in his hand and was going to open the seal to allow it to devour him. Time slowly passed as the scroll opened more and more in Shu Ting's trembling hands. His clothes were soaked in sweat and his face was pale. Shu Ting had opened the battle scroll about 40%, and the battle intent coming from the scroll was already intense. A storm appeared and swept by, causing a series of rumbles. A burst of black light came from the scroll and shrouded Shu Ting. Shu Ting's mind trembled, but there was an unyielding force inside his heart. He clenched his teeth as all his celestial origin energy surged and he mercilessly opened the scroll. There was a thud when he opened the scroll 70%. Li Yunzi suddenly stood up and unimaginable surprise filled his eyes. Just at the instant the battle scroll opened 70%, a roar of a beast came from inside. Large amounts of black mist came out and turned into a giant beast that attempted to devour Shu Ting. Hang on. There was anticipation in Li Yunzi's eyes. Shu Ting's body trembled. The moment the fierce beast charged at him, he coughed out blood and his body was knocked back. There were popping sounds and large amounts of blood burst out from his body. Letting out a miserable smile, he landed more than 100 feet away with a thud. As for the battle scroll, it immediately closed and floated in the air. It was as if the scene just now hadn't happened. Li Yunzi let out a sigh. This Shu Ting was able to open the scroll 70%. Although he wasn't able to resist the beast inside the battle scroll, he was already an extremely outstanding individual among the people that had attempted to open the battle scroll over the countless years. He waved his right hand and the scroll flew toward Wang Lin. Li Yunzi gloomily said, "Shu Mu, it's your turn." Wang Lin's expression was neutral as he grabbed the battle scroll and looked at Li Yunzi. He had no relation with Li Yunzi, so Li Yunzi must have had other motives for wanting him to observe the second scroll. Now that he saw Shu Ting's miserable state, he was even more certain. Most importantly, Wang Lin clearly saw that the sliver of source origin Shu Ting had obtained from the first scroll was taken by the beast when it devoured him. This battle scroll is interesting. Wang Lin revealed a smile as he grabbed the battle scroll and suddenly opened it. The battle scroll was suddenly opened by Wang Lin. That fierce, ancient aura surged out at Wang Lin as if it wanted to devour him. Li Yunzi stared at Wang Lin. Actually, although Li Yunzi initially valued Wang Lin, his expectations weren't high. Wang Lin was not the first non-family member he allowed to view the battle scroll. However, over the countless years, at most they only managed to open a majority. No one had been able to completely open it. However, the scene that unfolded before him caused Li Yunzi's impression of Wang Lin to change drastically. Wang Lin was able to set a condition and borrow Qing Shui to suppress him. All this sounds simple, but how many people in the cultivation world could grasp the chance so perfectly? Even more so, how many people in the cultivation world dare to do such a thing before him? Compared to Shu Ting, he was expecting a lot more from Wang Lin's performance. That fierce ancient aura surrounded him didn't cause Wang Lin's expression to change at all. In his view, this was not nearly as strong as his ancient god aura. It was just like a small beast roaring before him. No matter how much it roared, it was still weak. Wang Lin calmly opened the scroll. As he opened it, the fierce aura became even stronger and turned into a gust that swept Wang Lin. However, this gust wasn't able to move Wang Lin at all. Li Yunzi's pupils shrink and shined brightly as he stared at Wang Lin. At this moment, a majority of Shu Ting's celestial origin had collapsed. He looked at Wang Lin with endless hatred and complex emotions. Wang Lin's actions weren't fast. After opening the scroll 30%, he let out a cold snort. Not wanting to waste any more time, he suddenly opened up the scroll 70%. At this instant, the beast that devoured Shu Ting formed with a thunderous roar and attempted to devour Wang Lin. Wang Lin's eyes became cold as he stared at the beast rushing toward him and shouted, "Damned animal, you dare?" This roar was like thunder that split open the sky and rumbled across the cultivation planet. Even the mountain peak Wang Lin was standing on rumbled and showed signs of collapse. Cracks appeared in the earth nearby, forming large fissures. If he encountered a powerful cultivator, Wang Lin may not be strong enough to deal with him, but this mere ancient beast spirit wasn't enough to shake Wang Lin's mind. At this moment, Wang Lin was an ancient god. Also, he wasn't an ordinary ancient god but a 5-star royal ancient god. The fierce beast let out roar and then a whimper, then its body that was charging at Wang Lin stopped. Fear filled the beast's eyes. It was frightened by the words Wang Lin said before the scroll. At that instant, it felt an aura that made it tremble before this cultivator. It clearly remembered that this aura was something it didn't dare to provoke. This incredible scene caused Li Yunzi's eyes to widen. Even with Li Yunzi's cultivation, he couldn't help but become startled, but soon his heart was filled with ecstasy. This Shu Mu was able to make the beast spirit retreat in fear. The only person in my Zhon family that could do this over the countless years was the ancestor, Zhon Xingye. Li Yunzi ignored everything else and stared at Wang Lin. Shu Ting clenched his fists, but the shock in his eyes was intense. Wang Lin opened the scroll with zero hesitation after he let out that roar. There was an extremely flamboyant battle character on the scroll that looked like it was going to fly out from inside. It was amazing. An ancient aura came from the word battle, and in that instant, there was a battle Dao shadow in each of his eyes. At this moment, Wang Lin's vision blurred and he sank into this strange domain. It was still that endless space with that old man wearing white. However, this time the old man was sitting, and his right hand continued to draw the word battle in the void. This old man reached the void realm and grasped the boundary of the world. I have left behind no descendants, and my entire cultivation is drawn into the word battle. At this moment, before I attempt to break the edge of the world, I leave behind these 6 battle scrolls in case I fail and lose my life. If someone in the future obtains all 6, then they will become this old man's inheritor. As the old man muttered, his right hand suddenly stopped. There were thousands and thousands of the word battle of varying sizes around him. The old man pointed with this finger and then all of these words filled with battle intent merged into one word before the old man in the blink of the eye. Battle. The old man's voice was calm, but the moment he said the word battle trembled, turned into a ray of black light, and went into the void. Wang Lin's body trembled as the battle Dao shadow disappeared from his eyes and he awakened. Li Yunzi quickly walked up. His eyes were filled with excitement as he urgently said, "Did you see it?" Wang Lin silently pondered a bit and nodded. Just as he was about to speak, Li Yunzi waved his sleeve. Xu Tiang's body more than 100 feet away was swept by a powerful gust of wind and thrown countless kilometers away. Li Yunzi suppressed the excitement in his heart and said, "Now tell me what you saw." Wang Lin slowly said, "Inheritance." Inheritance, it was indeed inheritance. The disappearance of the ancestor must have had great connections with this inheritance. Li Yunzi's expression changed. He naturally had methods of knowing if Wang Lin was telling the truth, but all of this was pointless now. To be able to say the word inheritance was proof enough. When ancestor Zhong Xingye saw the second battle scroll, he said something similar. Part 238. Back then, ancestor Zhong Xingye, after years of comprehension, finally opened the third battle scroll. However, after observing the third scroll, his expression was very strange. He went into closed-door cultivation with the third scroll for 1,000 years and never came out during that time. One day, after 1,000 years, the clan found only the third scroll and a jade at the place where he went into closed-door cultivation, but there was no trace of ancestor. If it wasn't for ancestor disappearing, then not even the Thunder Celestial Temple would dare to provoke my Zhong family. Not even that ancient cultivation family would dare to. When ancestor was there, my Zhong family's honor held strong. However, all of this changed once ancestor disappeared. Generations of descendants held the hope of finding ancestor. Ancestor isn't dead, otherwise, his life token would be broken. Hundreds of thoughts went through Li Yunzi's mind. There were 3 people in the Zhong family that could open the second scroll, but no one could open the third scroll. This was something he had never told anyone. Not even the juniors in the family knew of this. They all thought Li Yunzi and the elders of the family could view the third scroll. Even Zhong Konglai thought the same thing. Li Yunzi wryly smiled. He was aware that although there were 3 people in the family that could open the second scroll, they could only comprehend it. None of them could completely immerse themselves within it like Xu Mu could. This had nothing to do with cultivation and didn't even have to do with talent. As for what exactly was the reason, Li Yunzi wasn't able to figure it out. Li Yunzi silently pondered for a long time before looking at Wang Lin and slowly saying, "Xu Mu, what kind of price do I have to pay for you to look at the third scroll?" Speak. In reality, he still had some personal agenda. In addition to looking for the ancestor, there was a message left behind in the jade left by the ancestor. If anyone in my Zhong family could obtain the inheritance, they would be able to reach the peak. Wang Lin pondered. After a long time, he shook his head. With my current cultivation level, I shouldn't be able to open the third scroll. When he observed that second battle scroll, source origin energy entered his third eye. This has nothing to do with cultivation level, so you should try it. I, Li Yunzi, will try to fulfill any request you have. Li Yunzi's right hand touched the spot between his eyebrows and a scroll immediately flew out from there. This scroll was the third battle scroll. Li Yunzi took a deep breath as he grabbed the third battle scroll and handed it to Wang Lin. Wang Lin caught it. The moment he grabbed it, he felt an aura that made his mind tremble. This aura was far stronger than the second scroll. I absolutely can't open this scroll. Wang Lin's eyes twitched and he felt a shocking sense of danger from the scroll. He had a feeling if he opened the scroll, even if it was just a sliver, it was not something he could withstand. Senior Li Yunzi, I'm not looking to kill myself, I won't open it. If I were to open it, there would be no chance of me surviving. Wang Lin looked at Li Yunzi and sent the third scroll back. Li Yunzi's expression sank. However, Senior Li Yunzi can relax. Junior also wants to see what's inside the third battle scroll. If there is a day when my cultivation is strong enough, I'll come and seek Senior to view the scroll. If I were to even open it a bit and die to the aura, then Senior would have to find someone else. Wang Lin retreated a few steps and calmly spoke. He knew that Li Yunzi wouldn't attack him. Of course, even if the other party was really unscrupulous and attacked, Wang Lin had already prepared in advance. Even though he wouldn't win the fight, he could still escape and delay enough until Qing Shui arrived. As Li Yunzi stared at Wang Lin, hundreds of thoughts went through his mind. He naturally knew the dangers of the third scroll. Over the countless years, everyone that tried to open the third scroll had all immediately perished. Even he still didn't dare to open the third scroll. Moreover, this Shu Mu had achieved great merit for all heaven. If he were to really trap this Shu Mu, or if Shu Mu really died from viewing the third scroll, then Master Flamespark would presumably interfere. Although, Li Yunzi didn't really care. He knew that Master Flamespark wouldn't turn against him during this war for a mere junior. However, what made him care was Qing Shui. From his point of view, Qing Shui was a madman. It was likely that he would pursue the matter about Shu Mu with anger. Qing Shui was willing to fight against Blood God for Shu Mu. He was willing to kill a member of the Thunder Celestial Temple during the Celestial Bestowment. If I forced this Shu Mu to stay, then I would be inviting trouble. Li Yunzi's expression was gloomy. He was also hesitant because he felt like Shu Mu wasn't be as easy to imprison as he expected. Over the countless years, the only person I've met that could see the domain inside the scroll was Shu Mu. If he dies, then I don't know when I can find another. It is better to have a good relationship with him. As Li Yunzi pondered, he laughed and admiration filled his eyes. He nodded and said, "Good, not rash at all. You are worthy of being my all-heavens Thunder Celestial. Shu Mu, although my Zhong family doesn't have a spell like the Xiong family to help you revive your soul fragment, we have a spell that helps strengthen the soul. In the future, when you come looking for this old man to view the third scroll, I won't let you take a loss. I'll teach you this spell. I'll also promise to help you with one thing with the entire force of the Zhong family as long as it's something my Zhong family can accomplish." Li Yunzi had made a big promise. Wang Lin's face revealed gratitude and he respectfully said, "Thank you, Senior. Senior can rest assured about this matter." Li Yunzi smiled as he nodded and said, "Forget it. Since you have an appointment with Qing Shui, you should go." Wang Lin clasped his hands and left. After taking a few steps back, he turned into a ray of light and disappeared into the distance. The moment Wang Lin left, Li Yunzi's expression became gloomy and he muttered, "Master Flamespark won't have a dispute with me over such a trivial matter, but there is Qing Shui. However, Qing Shui won't live for long. After Qing Shui is dead, I want to see how you will escape from me, Shu Mu." After Wang Lin left this cultivation planet, his expression became gloomy. When Li Yunzi summoned him, he had to come, or else he would offend Li Yunzi. If he wanted to borrow all heaven's power to avoid a future crisis, he had to respond to Li Yunzi's summon. Moreover, the two of them still had maintained their relationship, so he had no reason not to come. Since he had no choice but to go, then with Wang Lin's cunning, there was no way he wouldn't make any preparations. Even if Qing Shui didn't mention the matter about finding him in 10 days, he would still have asked Qing Shui for help. Moreover, when Wang Lin analyzed the situation, coming to meet Li Yunzi wasn't without benefits. Reality proved his analysis to be correct. Not only did he obtain more source origin energy and learned the origin of the battle scroll, he also obtained a Lu Fu blood ball. If he didn't come to see Li Yunzi, the troubles in the future would be even more intense than now. After all, Li Yunzi was one of the old monsters of all heaven, As he flew, Wang Lin recalled everything that had happened, and his expression gradually calmed down. He sneered as he disappeared among the stars. After finding a large rock floating in space, Wang Lin sat down, waiting for Qing Shui. A few days later, ripples appeared before Wang Lin, and Qing Shui walked out. When he appeared, he gave off a powerful scent of blood. Behind Qing Shui were heads with faces filled with despair. There were at least 100 of them floating behind him. Wang Lin opened his eyes and wryly smiled. Qing Shui's cultivation level was even higher than it was 10 days ago. It was obvious he had devoured a lot of cultivators. These people are all Slaughter Realm cultivators that were good at hiding. If we want to enter the Slaughter Realm, we need these heads. As Qing Shui spoke, he waved his right hand. The heads behind him flew and formed a circle. Celestial spell Nether Guide. Qing Shui's hand formed a seal. His celestial origin energy surged and he pointed with his finger. One of the heads exploded into a bloody mist with a bang. Then this continued, and soon, all 100 heads collapsed. Dense blood mist surrounded the area. Qing Shui waved his right hand and the blood mist began to rotate faster and faster. The mournful cries of the souls of the cultivators came from within this vortex and echoed inside Wang Lin's mind. Nether Guide. The moment Qing Shui's cold voice came out, the mournful cries from the vortex became even more intense. They gathered at the center of the vortex, forming a black hole-like thing, condensing all memories related to the Slaughter Realm from all the soul fragments into one spot. This formed a guided passage toward the Slaughter Realm using the memories of over 100 cultivators. This was the celestial spell Nether Guide. The black hole formed by over 100 cultivators rotated like crazy. In an instant, it seemed to break the void, and a dark red world appeared within the hole. There were large buildings that seemed to stab into the void like swords here, and a powerful killing intent covered everything. At the center stood a tower that was at least 10,000 feet tall. Black chains hung from the tower and connected it with the surrounding buildings. This was the Slaughter Realm. This spell is very practical, so I like it a lot. Killing intent filled Qing Shui's eyes as he took out a jade to record the spell and threw it at Wang Lin. Then he stepped into the vortex without hesitation. Wang Lin caught the jade and wryly smiled. He feared that Qing Shui probably liked the spell because it allowed him to easily and conveniently slaughter his way into the enemy home base. Wang Lin also moved and entered the vortex right after Qing Shui. A large vortex had suddenly appeared in the Slaughter Realm, pulling the attention of all the cultivators. An instant later, a cold voice spread. I'm Celestial Lord Qing Shui. Today I'm here to pick up something that belongs to me, and then I'll destroy this realm. The moment this sound appeared, it turned into a storm of killing intent that swept across the Slaughter Realm. Bang, 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 bang. In an instant, countless sword-shaped buildings collapse. What exactly did this Slaughter Realm take from senior brother Qing Shui to make him so angry after he searched esteemed Shenbao's memory? Wang Lin stepped out from the vortex and coldly looked at the Slaughter Realm. The Cultivation Alliance had 2 sects, 4 temples, and 8 realms. The Slaughter Realm created their own world as their base. Countless years ago, the founder of the Slaughter Realm took over a crack left over from the collapsed Rain Celestial Realm. He also gathered lot of heavenly metal to create the 99 Heaven-Raising Sword. These 99 Heaven-Raising Swords became buildings unique to the Slaughter Realm. In the Cultivation Alliance, the Slaughter Domain's name was illustrious, and over the tens of thousands of years, it had completed countless exploits for the Cultivation Alliance. Whether it was the first battle against the 4 Divine Sect or the later exchanges with the Corpse Sect, all of those conflicts had the shadow of the Slaughter Realm. Not many rank 6 cultivation countries had heard of the Slaughter Realm, but once they reached rank 7, the Slaughter Realm would be a well-known name. On a rank 7 cultivation planet, once a person's cultivation reached a certain level, they wouldn't be willing to leave their soul under another's control. The series of events caused by this sentiment were all dealt with by the Slaughter Realm. The bloodbath caused by these matters gave them a vicious reputation. Of course, there were many cultivators that the Slaughter Realm couldn't deal with. These were dealt with by other forces within the Cultivation Alliance. The Slaughter Realm could be said to be the Alliance's blade. Those recruited by the slaughter realm were people who had spent their lives in slaughter. Over tens of thousands of years, the slaughter realm maintained a core of 99 cultivators. If anyone died, they would immediately be replenished. Aside from these 99 cultivators, there were also the outer disciples. There were many outer disciples, and they were led by these 99 cultivators. Aside from these 99, there were also the Realm Master and the Vice Realm Master. It could be said that the Slaughter Realm was a cultivation sect, but they were far more powerful than most cultivation sects. Not many people were willing to provoke the Slaughter Realm in the alliance. Even some powerful cultivators would feel headaches when it came to the Slaughter Realm. Not only were these people vicious, they were also very good at stealth. If they failed their mission, they could immediately retreat and hide all traces of themselves. From the birth of the Slaughter Realm, there had never been someone who slaughtered their way to their home base. If there were, then what Wang Lin did barely counted. However, all of this changed when Qing Shui's cold voice echoed. Many of the sword-like buildings collapsed. Countless iron chains fell off and turned into a storm that swept the Slaughter Realm. Bursts of roars came out, and in an instant, countless shadows flew out from the storm. These cultivators were all dressed in black and were of varying ages. Their cultivation levels varied from illusory yin to mid-stage nirvana scrya. Most of them were at the yin and yang stage, very few at nirvana scrya. Shumu, can you help me with these minions? With a step, Qing Shui stepped past the black-robed cultivators. His voice was like a blast of cold air. With Wang Lin's cunning, he naturally understood Qing Shui was sending him a great fortune. Although there were many cultivators, he had the body of an ancient god, so it wouldn't be difficult to kill them. Senior brother can be at ease. As Wang Lin spoke, he took a step out and suddenly threw a punch. There was a heaven-shaking bang and a sonic boom appeared before Wang Lin. The void shattered and the cracks swept forward. The endless storm formed by Wang Lin's punch condensed into one point and rushed out. Even a peak late-stage nirvana scrya cultivator's expression would change when facing it. If they were a bit late in dodging, they would be killed instantly. Before Wang Lin were several illusory yin cultivators who had spent their lives in slaughter. Just as they approached, their expressions were changed by Wang Lin's punch. Popping sounds echoed within their bodies and large amounts of blood gushed out from their bodies. The person in front PF Wang Lin wasn't able to resist at all and his body collapsed. As his body splattered, the surrounding cultivators were filled with shock and fear. They wanted to escape, but at this moment, they clearly felt that a mysterious force had locked down the surroundings, so they couldn't escape at all. Bang! 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 All of these cultivators' bodies collapsed and their origin souls flew out and were caught by Wang Lin. All of this happened in an instant. It was unbelievably fast. All of the surrounding Slaughter Realm cultivators were shaken. Shumu. He is all heaven's thunder celestial Shumu. Someone immediately recognized Wang Lin's identity. Wang Lin's face was cold. There were about 100 cultivators before him. Although there were many of them, he considered none of them a threat. If it was before, it would be impossible for Wang Lin to face these cultivators. However, now that he had become a 5-star royal ancient god, everything was different. Wang Lin took a step, ripples appeared under his feet, and he disappeared. Spatial bending. An early-stage nirvana scrya cultivator's eyes opened wide. Shock and aghast filled his eyes and his scalp went numb. He was about to lose his wits, and he retreated without hesitation. He actually knows spatial bending. No matter how many people my slaughter realm has, it will be extremely difficult to hurt him. Wang Lin's figure disappeared. When reappeared, he was behind an illusory yin cultivator. After he appeared, it looked like his fist slightly punched forward and landed on the cultivator's back. That person didn't even have the qualifications to dodge or detect this punch. He trembled and popping sounds echoed from his body. A powerful force rushed into his body, causing his bones to shatter inch by inch. Then his body exploded with a bang. After grabbing this person's origin soul, Wang Lin's figure disappeared. A mid-stage nirvana scrya cultivator's eyes were red and he shouted, "Form a formation." However, just as he shouted, his expression changed. He suddenly turned, opened his mouth, and spat out a ray of red light. There was a long sword inside the red light, and it released a whistle when it shot forward. There were thousands of soul fragments coming from the sword. The mournful cries of the souls made the flying sword reach a peak. "This sword is very good." A cold voice came from all directions. Wang Lin stepped out from the void before the mid-stage Nirvana Scryer cultivator. His hand reached out and instantly grew into the arm of an ancient god. He grabbed the flying sword and pulled it back. The mid-stage Nirvana Scryer cultivator let out a muffled groan and his face became pale. This flying sword was his life treasure, and now that Wang Lin had cut off his connection to it, he was seriously injured. However, he felt a sense of panic that overrode all of this. To be able to so easily take my life treasure. This person. What exactly is his cultivation level? This mid-stage Nirvana Scryer cultivator was famous even in the slaughter realm. His prestige was even higher than that of Killer Yu Fei. However, at this moment, he was truly terrified, especially when he remembered how Yu Fei had escaped back to the slaughter realm but was still killed by a giant hand that came through the vortex. Recalling this made his scalp go numb. Without hesitation, he quickly retreated and slapped his bag of holding. A large amount of jades flew out and he shouted, "Explode." These jades all exploded, forming a powerful impact. All of this happened in a flash. After taking the flying sword, Wang Lin charged out without hesitation. The explosion of all those jades had no effect on him. The mid-stage Nirvana Scryer cultivator was completely shocked when Wang Lin approached him. Wang Lin's 2 fingers formed a sword and he pressed it down between the mid-stage Nirvana Scryer cultivator's eyebrows. With a bang, this famous mid-stage Nirvana Scryer cultivator's body collapsed. His origin soul was forced out by Wang Lin, and before he could escape, he was caught by Wang Lin. At this instant, Wang Lin finally felt his own change. It wasn't that a mid-stage Nirvana Scryer cultivator was too weak. It was just that he had grown strong enough to stand among the powerful. As for Qing Shuai, as he laughed, he charged toward the tower at the center of the slaughter realm. As he closed in, the black-robed old man sitting inside the tower suddenly opened his eyes and revealed a gloomy expression. As the vice-realm master of the slaughter realm, he couldn't help but tremble. Without hesitation, his body divided into 2 identical black-robed old men. One of them waved his right hand and a crack appeared in the void. There were countless small vortexes that emitted hissing sounds around the edge of this crack. After ripping open the crack, one of them stepped into it. The other let out a cold snort as he turned into a gust of black wind and charged out of the tower. The black wind flew out extremely fast, and the black-robed old man appeared before Qing Shuai with a gloomy expression. He shouted, "Sir, you are pushing us too far." There was a flash of coldness in Qing Shuai's eyes. His right hand formed a seal, and without hesitation, he waved his hand. 8 black dragons suddenly appeared and charged at the old man. At the same time, Qing Shuai's body flickered and arrived next to the tower. His hands formed a seal as he pushed them out and calmly said, "Heaven and Earth Ice Seal." In an instant, Qing Shuai's celestial origin activated and a powerful chill spread out from his body. Countless drops of rain appeared and immediately turned into ice crystals. Popping sounds echoed as all the ice crystals collapsed and a ray of blue light shot out. This blue light swept through the slaughter realm. It was as if the world had changed colors, and the entire slaughter realm turned blue. It was as if all the passages connecting to the slaughter realm had been sealed. Qing Shuai walked out from the blue light, and with a point of his right hand, the tower collapsed into dust. Inside it was a crack, and inside the crack was a black-robed old man. Half of this old man's body had entered the void, but at this moment, he was struggling against a large amount of blue light. However, no matter how hard he struggled, he couldn't leave through the crack. Qing Shuai closed in and his right hand reached out. He immediately pulled the old man out from the crack. Just as Qing Shuai pulled the old man out, there was a flash of coldness in his eyes. He immediately jumped up and pulled the old man to block his back. Just at this instant, 2 rays of purple light flew out from underground. One of them shot directly toward Wang Lin, the other pierced through the old man. The old man's eyes opened wide and his body and origin soul were destroyed by the purple light that was meant for Qing Shui. The purple light shined brightly and filled the world, completely suppressing the blue light sealing the realm. Killing intent flash across Qing Shui's eyes and red light appeared on his red index finger. His G realm had recovered a bit, and it collided with the purple light. A heaven-shaking explosion echoed and the purple light was forced to retreat. It then turned into a person. It was a middle-aged man with purple hair, and eyes were filled with killing intent. This old man is the Slaughter Realm's realm master Ling Yunzi, G realm. So my wife's belonging is in your hands. Qing Shui was forced back several steps as he stared at the purple-haired man. His eyes were filled with monstrous killing intent. Qing Shui is a former celestial lord of the Thunder Celestial Realm. Rumor has it that after his resurrection, his cultivation hasn't recovered. Although he is still very strong, I have a pseudo-nirvana void treasure. Even though it is broken, it is enough for me to battle him. Killing Qing Shui will be a great accomplishment. The purple-haired man let out a cold snort and created a large amount of purple mist. As he charged forward, 6 clones appeared and also charged at Qing Shui. The Slaughter Realm had a pseudo-nirvana void treasure. Even though it was seriously damaged, it was still quite strong. It was given by the Grand Elder of the Alliance to the first Realm Master of the Slaughter Realm to use as a realm protection treasure. As the purple mist spread out, Qing Shui charged into the mist filled with killing intent. Thunderous rumbles came from within the purple mist as Qing Shui began his battle with the purple-haired man. Both of them had the G realm, and a chilly aura shrouded the purple mist. As for Wang Lin, his expression was cold, and whenever he merged with the world, he would kill a person. At this moment, he had just stepped out from the void, but he raised his head and his pupils shrank. He saw a ray of purple light come from where Qing Shui was. This purple light far too fast, and what made Wang Lin's heart sink was that he felt a sliver of G realm in there. G realm. Without hesitation, Wang Lin retreated when the purple light closed in. At the same time, his hand reached out and the ancient god stars between his eyebrows began to rotate. Soon, a ray of light gathered in Wang Lin's right hand. Royal clan weapon, god-slaying spear. The light condensed very fast and the spear appeared in the blink of an eye. It wasn't 1,000 feet long this time, just the size of an ordinary spear. Wang Lin grabbed it and mercilessly threw it. It collided with the purple light in an instant. There was a loud explosion that echoed across the world and an indescribable shockwave spread like crazy. Some of the cultivators weren't able to dodge fast enough, so their bodies immediately collapsed, causing their deaths. The god-slaying spear wasn't damaged at all. It had only dimmed a little, and it returned to Wang Lin's hand. The weapon of the royal ancient gods can resist this level of G realm. Wang Lin's eyes shined as the spear in his hand slowly disappeared. Unfortunately, with my current cultivation, I can only create an illusion. The real god-slaying spear is with Tuor Sen. As Wang Lin retreated, he disappeared in a flash. When he reappeared, he was behind a Slaughter Realm cultivator, and his finger reached out. There were less than 100 Slaughter Realm cultivators remaining. None of the remaining people had weak cultivation. They grouped up and all made hand seals. They all chanted together and then the entire Slaughter Realm trembled. Of the large sword buildings, 11 of them immediately collapsed. 11 rays of light flew out and fused into the void as they chanted. A moment later, Wang Lin's figure appeared from the void with 11 rays of light pursuing him. They were too fast for him, so they closed in on Wang Lin in an instant. There was a silver sword inside each of the 11 rays of light, and they were filled with monstrous killing intent. Each of these 11 swords were crafted from heavenly metal by the first realm master. After being refined in the Slaughter Realm for countless years, they had become peerless slaughter weapons. The 11 flying swords chasing after Wang Lin let out mournful cries of souls of people killed by the Slaughter Realm. These souls circled the rays of light and pursued Wang Lin like crazy to devour him. It was as if they wanted to pull him in. Good swords. There was a flash of coldness in Wang Lin's eyes. These 11 swords were indeed excellent, especially when you consider they were all forged around the same time period and all experienced the same amount of refining. Each had begun to show signs of forming their own treasure spirit. If you were to collect them all and condense them, the result would be several times stronger than the 4 swords Ling Tianhu made. If I can take the 99 flying swords, even if my cultivation isn't a match for Ling Tianhu's, I should still be able to resist due to the power of this treasure. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he licked his lips. This slaughter realm indeed does have a lot of treasures. Hundreds of thoughts flashed through Wang Lin's mind. Qing Shui didn't actually need his help, he had asked him to come to give him a chance to obtain a fortune robbing the slaughter realm. Qing Shui did this to repay Wang Lin for what he did in the void. Just at this moment, 3 people flew out from the 100 or so cultivators nearby. Among the 3 people, 2 of them were at the mid-stage of Nirvana Scrya. The third person was an old man with very high cultivation level, late-stage Nirvana Scrya. This old man didn't step forward when Wang Lin and Qing Shui appeared. Instead, he was cautiously hiding and had only revealed himself now. The moment they appeared, the old man slapped his bag of holding and 4 white jade gourds flew out. These 4 gourds were crystal clear and smooth. The moment they appeared, the old man pointed forward. The 4 gourds suddenly began to rotate before the old man and faced off against Wang Lin. I request the treasured celestial gourd to kill this person. The moment the old man spoke, the 4 gourds trembled and milky white mist came out of them. The mist formed the shadow of 4 beautiful women, and they fluttered toward Wang Lin. The other 2 cultivators beside the old man used their own spells and treasures. One of them hit their own forehead and a black core flew out from between their eyebrows. The core rotated and gave off an eerie aura as the cultivator shouted, "Water of 10,000 Lord." The core flickered and immediately turned into black water and expanded. In an instant, it covered half the area in a raging sea that swept toward Wang Lin. The final cultivator emitted large amounts of bloodlight and his skin was covered in bloodlines. His appearance was extremely ferocious. His hands formed a seal, then he pointed forward and shouted, "Bloody celestial net." This caused popping sounds to echo inside his body, and those bloodlines actually flew out from his body. This large blood net flew toward Wang Lin. The 3 of them had used their most powerful spells and treasures. They launched a crazy offense, taking advantage of the moment when Wang Lin was attacked by the 11 swords. The 3 of them weren't the only ones attacking. The remaining almost 100 cultivators all activated their origin energy and launched their attacks at Wang Lin. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he revealed a sneer before spitting out an object. This was the 18 Hell Celestial Sealing Stamp. The moment the stamp appeared, roars came out from within like a storm. Wang Lin pointed with his right hand. This point was like an unsealing spell that unlocked the 18 layers of hell and allowed the resentful souls to come out. Wang Lin shouted, "Magic Arsenal." In an instant, countless soul fragments filled the world and charged at the surroundings. Most noticeable was the Blood Ancestor's soul that let out a roar at the world. Since Wang Lin had casted Magic Arsenal, he no longer paid attention to them. What he focused on were the 11 crystal lights chasing him. His body flickered. Instead charging forward, he retreated. As he did so, he reached out with his ancient god hand and grabbed a ray of light. The moment he grabbed it, he felt a sting of pain from his hand. A flash of coldness appeared in his eyes and his origin energy and ancient god power surged. He mercilessly squeezed but was surprised to find that he couldn't shatter the crystal light. Instead, this caused a sharp rebound from the crystal light. Tens of thousands of souls flew out with twisted expressions and tried to devour Wang Lin. I have many spells related to souls. A mere tens of thousands of souls dare to be insolent before me? The coldness in Wang Lin's eyes disappeared and was replaced with thunder. His origin soul was the ancient thunder dragon that controlled the thunder of the heavens. A vortex appeared between Wang Lin's eyebrows and his origin soul flew out, revealing his ancient thunder dragon soul. It let out a thunderous roar. Roar. The world shook from this roar, and large amounts of thunder gathered from all directions. In an instant, the slaughter realm turned into a thunder hell. The deafening rumbles of thunder echoed across the world. The rumbles entered the ears of the cultivators and even caught the attention of the 2 people fighting in the purple mist. Qing Shui's gaze was filled with admiration, while the purple-haired man's gaze was gloomy. Endless thunder filled the area. The thunderous roar made it seem like all the thunder in the world had gathered and had to submit to Wang Lin. A bolt of thunder flashed down toward the crystal light in his hand. It was like Wang Lin held the thunder of the world that attracted all thunder. "You, yield for me." Wang Lin let out a roar. The tens of thousands of souls from the crystal light no longer revealed ferocious expressions now and instead were filled with panic. As the endless thunder gathered, they all revealed expressions of surrender. The crystal light collapsed and then a silver 7-foot sword appeared in his hand. The surrounding tens of thousands of souls all entered the sword. There was a 9 carved on the body of the sword. It let out a hum as it yielded to Wang Lin. This sword was 7 feet long and 3 inches wide. The silver light it emitted was like moonlight. It floated in Wang Lin's hand and let out sword hums. Wang Lin's right hand touched it and he left his divine sense mark on it. The long sword hummed loudly and then a ray of sword energy shot out and circled around Wang Lin. "It indeed is a good sword." Joy filled Wang Lin's eyes and he flew after the next flying sword. The surrounding cultivators simply had no way to stop Wang Lin. Magic Arsenal had summoned numerous souls to fight them, and the endless thunder continued to descend. Wang Lin took a step and his hands reached out. Another sword was caught in his hand and began to struggle. Its struggle was intense, as if it was humiliating to be in Wang Lin's hands. As it struggled, the sword shot ray of sword energy upwards. At this instant, the remaining 9 flying swords all let out a sword hymns and their speed increased. Just as the 9 swords closed in, they fused into one fierce sword that stabbed toward Wang Lin. There was a flash of coldness in Wang Lin's eyes and the sword in his hand began to struggle even more. He let out a cold snort and simply gave up suppressing it. His left hand formed seals and restrictions appeared, landing on the sword. After the sword was sealed, Wang Lin threw it inside his bag. At this moment, the sword formed by the 9 swords closed in and surrounded him in a powerful burst of sword energy. Wang Lin could immediately feel a wind that could pierce one's body and directly sink into one's origin soul. Just at this instant, there was a flash of dark red coming out from the slaughter realm in the distance. It was a middle-aged man in a red robe that had charged out. The moment the middle-aged man appeared, his body flickered and moved like lighting to the center of the battle. His right hand moved, and under his control, the 4 figures created by the 4 gourds broke through all the obstructions to charge at Wang Lin. This middle-aged man followed closely after. He seemed to turn into a cloud of red smoke as he moved and charged at Wang Lin. He had remained hidden for a very long time, waiting for a chance to attack. He didn't dare to provoke Qing Shui, and he was even a bit afraid of Shu Mu. Looking at the ring of cultivators, he sneered and thought, "It seems that Master Devil God had the same idea as me. However, if I had taken the Alliance's summon for all the Nirvana Cleanser cultivators, then I wouldn't be in such a scary situation." Wang Lin's mind trembled and he stepped forward without hesitation as he went past the 9 swords that had fused into one. His right hand formed a seal and he pointed behind him as he shouted, "Call the wind." In an instant, a black wind appeared in the world and turned into 3 black dragons. They let out roar and charged out. The 4 figures immediately entangled around one black dragon, and there was a trace of confusion in the dragon's cold eyes. However, the other 2 black dragons didn't stop and charged directly at the red smoke formed by the middle-aged man. A laugh came from the red mist and then it dissipated and turned into the middle-aged man. His eyes were bright and he moved like an illusion. He unexpectedly went between the 2 dragons and charged toward Wang Lin. "Shu Mu, don't try to hide your cultivation level anymore. To go unscathed among so many illusory Ying, corporeal Yang, and Nirvana Scryer cultivators, you must be a Nirvana Cleanser cultivator." Wang Lin's eyes lit up. He had been wondering why there were no Nirvana Cleanser cultivators in the slaughter realm. However, his divine sense was still at the Nirvana Scryer stage, so he couldn't detect them. However, after he saw the middle-aged man, Wang Lin felt an aura that was weaker than that of the Nirvana Shatterer old monsters but far stronger than that of Nirvana Scryer cultivator. Nirvana Cleanser. Wang Lin took a deep breath and battle intent filled his eyes. More accurately, this was the second time he had faced a Nirvana Cleanser cultivator. The first time was Blood Ancestor, and this middle-aged man was the second. This person's aura isn't as strong as blood ancestors, so he should be at the early stage of nirvana cleanser. As the middle-aged man closed in, he waved his hand and the 9 swords that fused into one trembled. It circled him and released a yielding him. Let's use this person to test my true strength. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he no longer retreated. His right hand formed a fist and he charged straight ahead. Although the middle-aged man's expression was calm, his heart was disturbed. He couldn't quite see through the person before him. On the surface, this Shu Mu was only at the early stage of nirvana scrya, and the difference between them could be considered heaven and earth. However, he didn't know why he felt fear the instant he saw Shu Mu. It was as if there was a powerful aura coming from Shu Mu that even he was wary of. This person must be hiding his cultivation. The middle-aged man didn't underestimate Wang Lin but treated Wang Lin as someone at the same cultivation level as him. His right hand formed a seal and he pointed out. Countless specks of light gathered in his palm. Extraction of origin energy of the world. Wang Lin's pupils shrank. In addition to controlling laws, the other ability Nirvana cleanser cultivators had was to extract origin energy from the world. This was why Nirvana cleanser cultivators were powerful. With the ability to extract origin energy from the world, they didn't have to be afraid of wasting origin energy and could use spells at any time. The middle-aged man pointed with his finger and shouted, "Hongzi desolate sand." The specks of light that gathered from all directions turned into black sand. This was no ordinary sand but desolate sand formed by a spell using origin energy. Every grain of sand contained a large amount of origin energy. There were also powerful restrictions contained within each grain of sand. Wang Lin moved forward with his right fist. The ancient god stars under his third eye rotated rapidly and then he mercilessly threw a punch. There was a shocking explosion. A giant ancient god arm formed as Wang Lin threw that punch. It was like the hand of a giant had thrown that punch. The power of an ancient god against the origin energy gathered by a nirvana cleanser cultivator. The desolate sand covered the world. As Wang Lin's fist closed in, the middle-aged man laughed and shouted, "Hongzi illusion, become real." The endless sand gathered. At the moment Wang Lin's fist arrived, it unexpectedly formed a giant fist the same size as Wang Lin's fist. This was the spell of the middle-aged man. The law I comprehended is the law of illusion. The middle-aged man waved his hand. The giant fist formed by the sand suddenly collided with Wang Lin's punch. Endless rumbles echoed within the slaughter realm and a storm spread out everywhere. Some cultivators weren't able to dodge quickly enough and were caught by the storm. They were dragged by the storm and screamed as they turned into a mist of blood and became part of the storm. At the center of the storm, the giant fist made of the sand from the middle-aged man's spell collapsed into sand and was blown back. Wang Lin's body also trembled and numbness spread through his right arm, followed by bursts of pain. His body also retreated due to the impact of the force. This is a nirvana cleanser cultivator. Wang Lin's eyes became cold. The middle-aged man was even more certain that this Shu Mu was indeed hiding his cultivation. If this Shu Mu was really at the nirvana scrya stage, then there was no way he would have resisted this truth illusion. The middle-aged man's hands beat the void before him and the origin energy in his body surged. The sand that was pushed back immediately gathered and formed a giant sand crane. It let out a heaven-shaking cry as it charged toward the retreating Wang Lin. Just at this moment, white light came from the ground and a green-robed old man appeared. He licked his lips and charged out as his eyes lit up. The reason this old man gave up the Alliance's summon and hid for this long was to avoid trouble. With Qing Shu here, I normally wouldn't have shown myself under any circumstances and would have looked for a chance to escape. However, with Master Empty Fantasy battling Shu Mu, this gives me, Master Devil God, a chance to obtain some merit. The old man's figure was extremely quick, and he charged toward Wang Lin. As Wang Lin retreated, his eyes revealed a vicious light and his hands formed a seal. 2 green flames condensed in his palms. This old man had always been extremely cautious throughout his life and never did anything he wasn't confident in. This was the same in the slaughter realm. Back on his cultivation planet, He carefully spent thousands of years slaughtering countless cultivators and stole their pills and treasures. Even after he left, no one knew he had done all of this. In the slaughter realm, his caution reached its limit. His timing this time was also extremely good. In an instant, this old man had closed in on Wang Lin. He was not afraid of Wang Lin detecting him, and his origin energy surged out as he charged forward. This caused the surroundings to tremble and distort. I want to see how you will use spatial bending. Killing intent filled the eyes of the old man named Master Devil God. His body was like an arrow, and he swung his hand. However, at this moment, a shocking change occurred. A miserable scream came from the purple mist, and then 7 purple figures fell from the sky. The 7 figures collapsed one by one until only one remained. This video will end here.